Slow down. Slow down. Everyone I know, including myself, we have somewhere to go. We are looking forward. We are trying to achieve something, trying to accomplish something, but we're not there yet. And we are just on go. And today I'm coming to tell you that you need to slow down. Slow down. If you are doing everything that you're supposed to be doing, you will be there. You will get there. Slow down so that you can go further. Slow down so you can excel. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Community Solutions Podcast, the only podcast that turns workplace challenges into real world solutions. It is so good to be back with you all. Today, I just really want to talk about slowing down. I have to tell myself this frequently because I have all these boxes that I'm trying to check. Every week I have something that I should be accomplishing. Yes, roadblocks come, detours come. And so we navigate. We make the necessary adjustments, right? But are you impatient? Are you looking so far in the future that you're not handling the responsibilities you need to handle now? And that's what I want to talk to you all today. In order to get there, we have to make sure that we are on assignment for right now. Yes, it seems like it's delayed, and it depends on what your goals are. Some of you are looking for promotion. Some of you are looking for that business venture. Some of you are looking for children. You're trying to find your soulmate. You're ready to finish school or figure out what school you want to go to. And I'm just here now to tell you, just slow down, not necessarily in your actions, but in your thoughts, in that desire, that thing that makes you anxious. It's okay to have desire, but let's not despise the beginnings, the small beginnings of where we're at right now. Where we are at right now is where we need to be. And I'm only speaking as if you are taking action now. Then you're at where you're supposed to be. What we fail to realize is that we're in purpose now. There's something at the level that you're at that you have to grasp, that you have to learn. There's someone that you're supposed to be meeting in that environment. There's someone who is about to cross your path soon that will help take you to that next level. But what happens is we want to skip steps. We want to rush through the day. We want to rush through the week. I don't know where it was, and they were like, "Ooh, it's Friday. It's Friday. It's Friday." Next thing you know, 51 Fridays have passed. Are we taking advantage of what is at our feet right now? Are we making the most of it? Are we making the decisions now that will get us to our future? And it's not just business. It could be weight loss. I just went to the mall and ate pretzels. Like, no, is that taking me closer to my goal or farther away? Of course it's taking me farther. I want you to look back at your activities for the week, your activities for the day. Dissect it. What have you accomplished? What have you put off? What phone calls have you avoided? What phone calls should you have avoided? How much time are you putting in? What kind of conversations are you having? You see, what we are expecting, we could be avoiding at the same time. There could be someone right now who is close to you. You don't really have in-depth conversations, but they may have what you need in order to get you to that next level. It's so important to have these conversations. It's so important to first speak to yourself. Slow down. You're rushing, but you don't have all your bags packed. Slow down so you won't forget anything. You have to make sure you have all your tools for that next level. I'm not just speaking to you, I'm speaking to myself. Those small beginnings. And for me, there are some people who want to rush you or rush the process, depending on who your mentor is. And I always say that I can move so much better. I will be more confident once I have that foundation down. And that's sometimes my downfall because I like to make sure that I have steady footing first. But I always want to make sure I have that solid foundation because then that makes me confident to take that next step. Are you making sure your foundation is ready? Or are you aiming for something that is going to give you more weight that you can't carry right now? Slow down so that you can go further. Slow down so that you can take inventory of what you have, what you need, and maybe what it's time to let go of. There are some decisions that need to be made. In one way or another, we are all moving into different territory. Nothing stays the same. Every day brings us closer to something. Depending on what you're looking for, what you're telling yourself, what you're working on. I just heard someone say today, matter of fact, I was listening to Napoleon Hill on YouTube, a video about Napoleon Hill. And in this video, he said, your life bends to your assumptions. And I wrote it down because it hit me. Your life bends to your assumptions. So what are you preparing for? What are you thinking in your head? Are you thinking it's taking too long? Because that's how your life will bend. Are you saying that it's not going to be right when you get there? Are you saying that, the end result won't be good or you're wasting your time? If you're telling yourself this negative stuff, that is the way your life will bend. And he said, not because of fate, but because of focus. Because you're focusing on the negative, that's where you're going to go. I'm saying focus on where you want to be, but make sure you're taking the steps now to get there. What's the point of arriving to the airport early if you haven't packed everything that you need? And I'm pretty sure you're telling your children or your loved ones, your family, your friends, the same thing. Slow down. It's going to be okay. You're going to have everything you need. But when it comes to yourself, are you telling yourself the same thing? Are you giving the advice that you give to others? Are you taking that with you? Are you applying it to your own life? We have to be aware and we have to be aware of the information and the advice that we're taking in. We have to look at where they are, the people that's giving us the information. We have to look at where they are, or maybe the experiences that they have. What qualifies them? What qualifies them? Slow down. Slow down. Now with social media, it's like they want you to post every day. There's an algorithm There's an algorithm. You have to do this every day. Some people are posting 3 times a day. It's like nonstop. But what is your own rhythm? And I say it all the time. I need to find another term for it, but I'm not a rule breaker. I'm not a rule breaker. But there are some things that I just can't follow. Like, it has to make sense. I can't do it just because everyone else is doing it. I can't do it just because they say that's the requirement. There are instances, yes, where you have to. And now with social media, there's apps and software you can use that will allow you to post every day. But what about having your own rhythm? At what point do you say no? At what point do you go against the grain? Is there anything in life that you go against the grain? I'm not saying breaking any rules or anything like that. But do you have to do everything that is being insisted upon you? For example, I'll say it, I'm not ashamed of it. I have an Android phone. But when you speak to someone and they have Apple, they're like, oh my gosh, you have Apple, you have Apple. But here's the thing that I don't understand is that I probably started off with like a Nokia back in the day. Was I in high school? Like 90s? Like, I'm not sure. But I started off with Nokia. And then it was probably Motorola because they had the pagers and everything as well. But then the next phone was Android, and I haven't had a problem with it. There's nothing on my phone that blocked me from doing anything I needed to do. I could do everything I needed to do on my phone, right? And I'm not saying don't use Apple. I'm not saying don't use Android. I'm just telling you about how I even have the phone. And not necessarily bucking the system, but not doing what's expected. If I have a phone and it does everything that I need, why would I change? Why would I change? Why would I change just because that's what you have? Why would I change? See, one thing I'm not is a follower. I choose not to make decisions just based off of what you say is better. And maybe if I did have an Apple phone, I may like it, but I don't need it. I am happy with what I have. But there are people out there who have to have something because someone else is doing it, or they have it, or because of the name. That's not me, and that's never been me. I'm deeper than that. I'm deeper than that. And I'm not saying I'll never use an Apple product. But what I have works. I understand it. There's no shortage, there's no lack. Why would I change? And then I found out Apple products are using Samsung technology. So I'm saying all this to say, what are you doing just because someone else is doing it? What are you doing just because someone told you it's better or this is what you need to do? At some point, you have to think for yourself. You have to go off of your own experiences. You have to look at, okay, how much will this change cost me? Right? That's like an opportunity cost. I got a new phone and, I'm real busy right now. So How much time is it going to take me to learn the new phone, to learn the apps? Do I have other devices that could already connect to it? There's a learning gap there. So even if I wanted to, I have to make sure that I have like no important events coming up to where I need to know how this phone functions properly. Let's say I don't know, I need to record, I need to capture information. Like there's a whole learning curve. And so that would interrupt my current flow. That is delaying me temporarily for where I'm trying to go. What are you doing that's delaying your arrival unnecessarily? Sometimes we have to slow down. Sometimes we have to analyze the advice that we're being given. You have to use your own mind. We want to be somewhere so bad. We want to be 10 steps ahead so bad. But it's so important for us to make sure that that ground is prepared for us when we get there. I truly believe that my steps are already ordered. I also live in expectation. I expect something good. I am heading to a conference pretty soon, and I have expectations. There's things that I'm looking forward to. And just like I'm telling you, I could be looking too far out. I have set a goal that I'm trying to accomplish once I get there. And what did I tell you? My life bends on my assumptions. So because my thoughts are positive and fruitful, I am believing that this experience will be fruitful. And I'm glad that I've already started the framework, the groundwork, and this is going into new territory. So once I get to this new territory, it's going to be slow again because it's something new. It's something you have to get familiar with. And then once you're familiar with it, then I can pick up speed to get to the next level. Then there's going to be a learning curve. You see, everything, there's cycles to everything. But you have to be making those steps forward. We can't always start off running. So I keep saying, slow down in order to speed up. Slow down. What is it that you need to slow down on? What is it that you need to focus on? What is it that you need to take time to do now so that you will be prepared for the future? And is it necessary? I've had several conversations today, which has prompted me to speak about slowing down because I'm speaking to someone and they are hesitant on which direction they should go. And I'm not going to say any names, but they're trying to figure out which direction they should go. And at first, I told them to make a list and, to see which way they want to go. But then I had to go back to them and say, hey, listen, no, you need to pray about that first. And when you do pray about it, make sure you say what you want. So my first advice again was to make a list of, okay, what happens if you make this decision? Okay, what happens if you make this other decision? But then I had to go back. Sometimes you have to correct yourself. Never be afraid to correct yourself. Never go back to correct or redirect or make it plain for anyone. And I had to say, you can have whatever you want. You can have this A plus B. You can have A plus B and C. But we spend so much time trying to dictate what the output would be. And we don't have that authority. We don't have that. We cannot tell the future. So it's important for us to make it plain, write down what we want, and then take those steps to get there. If you are spiritual, if you are a believer, or your religion, or how if you don't practice any religions at all, that's fine. But bring in a higher power and let them know, hey, this is what I want. But I will be happy and satisfied with you giving, because your plan will be even better. We have to stop making shortcuts for ourselves. We have to stop settling for less. We have to stop saying, well, I don't want to do this because of this. The latter doesn't have to happen. That's the way that you have portrayed it in your mind. And we do it all the time. You can have your cake and it's yours. You can eat it as well. You can eat the whole cake if you want. It is yours. But you have to make it known. You have to make it plain. And then go get your fork. Go prepare it. We don't have to settle. We don't have to have A or B. Just because we choose option B doesn't mean it's going to come along with C, D, and E, those things that we don't want. Your life bends to your assumptions. Assume that you can have it all and plan accordingly. But don't be overzealous in trying to get there, missing the steps that you need to make that journey a success. That is all I have for you today as I am preparing to be fruitful. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. Oh, and here's the other thing. I mentioned it on my last episode. I'll make a commercial for it. But I have mentioned this on my previous episode. I have created some cards, some conversational cards. They're called Questions and Perspectives. You can go to Q and P for Questions and Perspectives, qandpcards.com, and order your set. And they're for any type of environment. So they're clean. And it's about having real conversations. I started this episode off about having real conversations. Understanding what makes them tick, understanding their values, understanding them. Because we live in a time where there's a lot of small talk, there's no depth. They're meaningless conversations. But we also observe people's actions, and when we see how they act or react, we are automatically assuming or tagging them with some type of behavior, some type of personality. But if you use these cards and you ask these questions, maybe you'll see a totally different perspective. You saw it one way, but they saw it totally different. I pulled out this deck of cards when I was getting a pedicure because I heard two people having a conversation. They may have been mother and daughter. No, the daughter was, it seemed like she was a teacher. And I passed these cards, and one of the cards questions said, what would you do if success was guaranteed? And I want you to think about that. What would you do if success was guaranteed? And her response was, it has something to do with money. Like, oh, I can't remember exactly. I wish I remembered it. But it has something to do with money. And then they returned the question back on me. Well, what would you do if you knew success was guaranteed? And I had to think about it because yes, I created these cards, but I didn't go through and say, oh, this is what my response would be. These were just questions that I would like to know from everyone else. It tells you a little bit about that person. And the great thing about these cards is that you can ask that question one day and get one answer, and then the next week or the next day or the next month or year, that answer will be totally different because we are all living out our life's experiences. And so that need may be different. That want might be different, right? And so my response was, well, I would heal this person from dialysis. Like, wow, I never thought about that. And she says, yeah, oh my gosh, my answer was all about me. And here you are with helping someone else. I asked someone else that question. Oh, and then her mother responded. She said she would love to work with turtles. I never thought I'd hear that. That never crossed my mind. And so my response was like, oh my gosh, that sounds so peaceful. And she was thoroughly happy with that. But it sounds so peaceful. Now, that card came up in another conversation, and this young lady said she would have all of her students pass their test. I was like, wow, I absolutely love that. Now, this deck has over 100 questions, but to just hear the different perspectives and to see, okay, if she knew success, nobody said hit the lotto. One person did talk about money, but no one said hit the lotto. It's like, said hit the lotto, but it tells you where people's mindsets are. It tells you what they're thinking about. And just by answering that question, it's like, oh, okay, you're a teacher or you're a parent and you cared. And it's not something about what you want. It's about something that they will want. So these conversations are, or these questions are revealing, and it improves your communication. It improves your understanding. And if you're doing it in a work environment, it improves your collaboration and it becomes more open and more honest. And that's what we need right now. That is my goal. That is my podcast, and my business is called Kim Unity Solutions. Because my thought process is we all have different perspectives. None of us have the perfect answer. But what would happen if we all put our perspectives together to resolve or solve a real solution? We could create worldwide change, positive impact. So go to qnpcards.com and buy you a deck. Buy one for, a birthday present, or, your summertime's coming. There's family reunions. You're going to get together for wine night. You're having your girlfriends over. You and the guys are going to, chill at the cigar shop. Get you a day. I am Kim, the SME. As always, I am only speaking from my experiences. I am so glad you have joined us. And to all of my new listeners, welcome to the Community Solutions Podcast, the only podcast that turns workplace challenges into real world solutions. Be blessed. Bye.